This is the Spotlight segment. Stay tuned for premium interviews, device unboxing, and more.
Hi, this is the Blind Android User's Dual Audio Pixel8Pro review. I'm Warren Carr.
And I'm John Dyer.
And we're delighted again, guys, to be doing this dual audio review of the Pixel 8. John, you and I had this last week, and it was quite a blast to go through all that unboxing toolkits on a Christmas day. You are out there in Virginia. I'm here in the state of Washington, and it's like, during COVID time, and we could just have a party together virtually. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, and that was exactly a week ago. So we've had these phones in our hands for a week now.
And so today, what we're doing is essentially talking about the things that we like about the phone within the 1 week that we've used it, and some of the things that we do not like. And John, I want to start, though, by mentioning the setup screen. Something new that you and I both saw on the setup screen, and that has to do with the ability to set it up with another existing device if you have another existing device. I think particularly if you have another Pixel phone. Did you try it with your Samsung phone, John, or did you not do that process?
I did it with my Samsung phone. Are you asking if I transferred from my Samsung phone or if I set up my Samsung phone?
No, when you were setting your Pixel 8 Pro, if you brought your Samsung phone to just set it up from, just like I did when I was setting up mine, I just brought up my Pixel 7 Pro.
I did, but it didn't. I don't know if this is normal or not, but I didn't get the pop-up on my Samsung phone. It didn't say, I think it's called quick, what is it called?
I don't remember the exact, wording.
Yeah, but like earbuds do it, your watch does it. Quick pair is what it's called.
A quick pair, there you go.
Yeah, so it didn't do the quick pair pop-up, but I was able to scan the QR code, and so I just picked up my Samsung phone, I double tapped the power to get the camera open, and I pointed it at my Pixel, and it took me into it the same way as if I had gotten the pop-up. Like, it asked me for my pattern on my Samsung phone, and then it just copied everything over from there.
Now, my experience was that it did say something about the QR code. However, I did not. All I did was tap on, setup on that Pixel 7 Pro, and then it just did everything. It just said, keep it nearby. And that's all I did. I never scanned any QR codes at all. So I think that if you have another Pixel device, the process is more seamless as to using a different phone from another manufacturer, because I never once scanned any QR codes, and it was just like buttery smooth.
Yeah, and it might depend on your settings too, whether you have Bluetooth turned on or off. So if you don't get the pop-up, even if you're using a Pixel and you don't get the pop-up, try the QR code too. You'll save yourself a lot of time because it skips a few steps. You don't have to log into your Wi-Fi network or anything. It just takes everything from that phone.
Exactly, and that's what mine did. Everything was just automatic, including my eSIM for that matter, and it just told me that my number now was moved from my Pixel 7 Pro to my Pixel 8 Pro. Now, John, let's talk about the next thing, which is of great importance to you and I and to everybody, really, because what good is a phone, John, if the battery is not bueno? Excuse my Espanol there, but if the battery is not all that good, then I think one has a useless phone, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Especially in my case where I max out my screen 100%, and I use my phone a lot. And I've noticed on this, just to give some numbers, because some people like numbers. So the screen on time for me ended up being around 9 hours, before I could completely drain the battery. And that's with my screen set to 100%, and that's with automatic brightness turned off. So it was at 100% all the time, and it was lasting 9 hours, which is that's the best I think I've ever had. Well, it's definitely the best I've had on a Pixel phone. I think it's right up there with what I get on my Galaxy S23 Ultra, which has been the best phone battery-wise that I've ever had. So this is definitely impressive.
I agree with you because now you basically, when you turn off that auto whatever, you are not even using anything like that, an adaptive, display setting, adapting to wherever you are. Everything is just set to that bright 100% all the time. As to me, who on the other hand, however, had mine set to 35% because I don't like my screen too bright. And frankly, that battery, for example, when we did our unboxing back on Thursday, and I had it charged full to 100% on that Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. And by Saturday afternoon at 4:35, I think it was either at 24 or 26%. And so what had happened that evening was that at 9 o'clock, I put it on the charger and I fell asleep. I didn't wake up till like 7 o'clock Sunday morning. And of course, it was sitting there on the charger at 100%. I took it off that charger, John, and I did some light things like a little bit of YouTubing and some of those camera things, playing with the camera and all of that. And I didn't put it back on the charger again till Tuesday afternoon. And at 2:40, it was at 12%. So I think that is really good. And like you said, this is the first time that I've ever had a Pixel phone lasting that long. Another one that came close to this was my Pixel 5a. And that's the one I could compare it to. But frankly, not any other flagship Pixel phone. This has been the very first one that I've had such a beautiful experience when it comes to the battery.
Yeah, I think because of the 5A had sort of a mid-range processor, so I think that's why it got such good battery life. But this, it's using a high-end processor, and you're still getting good battery life, which is awesome.
And another thing you mentioned about the screen brightness, this screen is very bright. I mean, I do have a little bit of sight. I couldn't, use that brightness. I tried it at 100%. It was too bright for me. It was just, I don't think I'd ever seen any phone that bright. Not even a Samsung phone is that bright. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
it's funny. To me, it looks like a Samsung phone. I feel like it's there. The numbers are higher than a Samsung phone, but the numbers they tell you is like peak brightness, what it lets you do when you're out in the sun. But as far as like regular usage, yeah, it looks like my Samsung phone. They both are bright enough for me, which is saying a lot. I need very bright screens if I'm going to see anything at all.
And the truth is that the screen, that super extra screen. So you got the Pixel 8 is just extra screen, and then super extra screen for the Pixel 8 Pro. And interesting thing is that Samsung is the one that manufactured those screens. And so, especially on the Pixel 8 Pro. So I wonder, usually Samsung reserves this for itself. I wonder what the S24 series is going to be like. Maybe they're going to bump it up to more than
Yeah,
what the Pixel 8 has. I'm kind
yeah,
of
maybe.
curious.
The
Yeah.
same thing happened with the Pixel Fold. The folding screen actually is a better, newer model of screen that Samsung manufactures, even newer than what's on their Fold 5, which was released a couple of months later. So I don't know why, but Samsung seems to give away their newer displays first.
But they are best friends forever. Don't forget that.
Yeah. So the next thing I think we should talk about are the speakers. I've been really impressed with them. They get loud. They're full sounding. It doesn't get distorted. I'll let you talk about it more than me because you've mentioned that you felt like I'll let you explain, but I think you felt like they took a step back in the Pixel 7, and you think they're getting back on the right track with this one. Is that right?
You are correct, John, because on the Pixel 6, it was nice and boomy, but when you turn it up, there was that distortion. And then on the Pixel 7 series, for some reason, that boomy sound is not there. Now it came back, and I have mine in my hand.
Home.
And if I turn up the volume all the way, I hope that I'm at 100%.
Accessibility volume set to 100%.
And
Home.
there's no distortion.
Folder. Navigation. 4 or more items.
And you have that nice big sound that you're talking about, John. And so I'm excited that we have that back, because that was one of the complaints that I had against the Pixel 7 series, because that sound, that signature sound that we've come to know with Google as of Pixel 3, for some reason went back to mama on Pixel 7. I mean, it's still good, but it's not as good as the other ones, and I'm glad we have it back.
Yeah, 2 thumbs up for the speakers. What do you think about the haptics? I've really been enjoying the haptics. That's a Pixel thing. Even on my Pixel 7, I thought that the haptics were nice. They felt like they were strong, but they didn't like rattle your phone, when you're typing and stuff like that. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so when it comes to haptics, I'm not a haptic kind of guy, John. So I think I
Really?
turned mine off. But I think you're not the first person that I've heard that's liking the haptics on the Pixel 8 series, or especially the Pixel 8 Pro, because that's what we have. We do not have the regular Pixel 8, so we cannot really say anything much about that. But the experience, though, is that the haptics are good, and you've experienced that yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Nice. Let's go talk about the fingerprint, John, because, like, for example, on my Pixel 7, I had never been able to use the fingerprint. And probably it has to do with the fact that I have my screen protector, tempered glass on it. On the other hand, however, it works well on my Pixel 6 Pro. However, not on my Pixel 7. And so most of the time, I either use the face unlock or simply use my PIN. And for the Pixel 8, however, Pixel 8 Pro, I realized that that fingerprint works all the time. And so for the very first time, I'm liking the fingerprint on a Pixel phone.
Yeah, I'll say it's decent. I'll give it that. But I miss my Samsung phone. I especially miss the fact that you can unlock it with the screen off. You don't have to wake the screen first. So I'm definitely missing that. It does seem to work though. So, and I do like that you can use Face Unlock for everything now if you need to. Even to get into your banking apps and that sort of thing. So you don't have to use the fingerprint sensor if you don't want to, unless you're in the dark. Then you have to use it, or put in your PIN or pattern.
Exactly. Now, do you have the always on screen display? Now, for example, because if you have the always on screen display, you should be able to use the fingerprint with the screen shut off. Of course, which it means that what that means is that your screen is going to be, when you touch it, it's going to come to life, unlike what you have on Samsung devices. I mean, even on Samsung devices.
I did try that, and it seemed to help, but sometimes it still wouldn't. I don't know if taking it out of my pocket, it hadn't turned on the always on display yet or something, but it seemed like it would only work half the time when I had the always on display enabled. Because even though I can't see it, I was going to leave it on if it kept me from having to hit the side key. But because I think you and I both have lift to wake disabled and tap to wake disabled, so I guess I'm kind of putting myself into a corner by having that stuff disabled. But I don't like my phone talking unless I want it to, so that's why I have that stuff disabled.
Exactly. I hate that myself. So I have all of that disabled, but for people who like things like that, I
Yeah,
think if you
that's a
have
good
both
tip.
on, it should work. Yeah.
Always on display will help, and it won't. For the most part, it won't make your phone talk when it's lit up.
Right, John. Now, next, let's look at that camera. And here I'm making particular reference to the guided frame. Last year, back in 2022, when Google introduced the guided frame for the selfie, you want to see how pretty or how handsome you are. We happen to be very handsome guys here on the podcast, and the girls just absolutely stunning. You want to take those selfies. Uh, you know, it guides you. And what I liked about it is the fact that Google, it seems they heard our complaint when we were uh, kind of demonstrating that. And I recall that during one of our episodes, John, that we had talked about the fact that we would love to see that thing come to the rear camera. And this year we got it on the Pixel 8
Hmm.
series. And it's just, isn't that a beauty, John? Have you tried it?
Yeah, I've used it to take pictures of my son while he was playing with his toys, and it worked great.
Now, another thing that I really like about that guided frame for the rear camera is the fact that sometimes you point it at an object, it may recognize the object. For example, I was pointing it at an open book and it told me it's a document and guided me to hold it to where it's in view. And then it told me it's in view and it took a picture of it. And I was excited. Now, the only thing that kind of squelched my excitement was that it didn't read back the document. So what I did instead was I tapped on the Google Lens and I was able to read that. And it's just absolutely beautiful. And did you try it on other screens, John, to see what it tells you?
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I was just playing with it once in my bedroom, and it saw the television. It said electronic device detected or something along those lines, and then it guided me to put it in the frame to take a picture of. So I mean, that's cool. That if you're taking a picture of something like you're selling on eBay, and you just want to get the thing in the shot, you want your picture to look professional. That's perfect for that. It gets it lined up for you.
You are right, because I used to be someone that sold things on eBay some years ago, and
Yeah, I still
this
am.
would have been this would have been great because sometimes my shots were not all that good. I usually would have my wife do it for me and all of that. But with this, if you know what you have and you point it at it, it will let you know that the thing is in view and it will guide you to have it centered right in the middle of the screen. So yeah, I think this is has another use besides just taking those beautiful pictures and all of that. It's just a good thing to have.
Yeah, and so we've already done a demo in the past, but just a quick overview of it. What it'll do is it'll tell you how to move your phone, and once it's centered, it'll count down from 3, as long as you hold it in the right place. But I just wanted to point out, you could also double tap your screen to take the picture once it's lined up, or you can press the volume key to take the picture. Now that TalkBack has been decoupled from those volume keys, it kind of lets you use them the same way a sighted person would, which I think is awesome. So if you don't want to wait for the countdown, you don't have to. You'll hear it tell you that it's lined up and you can just take your photo. And another thing that I wanted to point out that I love about the Pixel camera is that if you press and hold the volume key, it'll actually record a video for the duration of the key press. So even if you're in picture mode, if you just want to take a quick video, you don't have to worry about switching to video mode. You just open the camera, you hold that volume key down, you'll hear it start recording, and as soon as you let go of that volume key, it'll end the recording. You don't have to interact with the screen at all.
Now, isn't that a great thing though? Because previously we were not able to do that because that volume key or those volume keys were tied to the talkback. And I know some people kind of like that. However, I think I kind of prefer, and this had been one of the arguments that I made for the decoupling the volume keys away from the talkback, because now we could use those volume keys for other things, most especially in applications that support the usage of the volume keys, like you've just explained, John. So how great it is, for me to be able to just kind of start shooting videos without switch to video mode. You just hold down that volume and you're recording video. It couldn't be any better than that. I like it, and most especially for someone like you, John, who has a young one, and the spur of the moment thing happens, and you want to take a quick video of him. You just mash that volume down, and you're good
exactly.
to go.
He's fast. You could
Yeah,
blink and you miss it.
exactly. So that's a good thing to hear about the Pixel camera. And by the way, Google has renamed their camera to the Pixel camera. And I think that it's something that's primarily for Pixel phones. I try to install it on my Galaxy, and it's not compatible.
Something else that's pretty cool is the multilingual support with Google Assistant. Now, I haven't tried it. I know a little bit of Spanish, but not much. But I'm curious more. Have you tried it yet?
My raw Espanol probably wouldn't let me do it. But what John and I are talking about is, for example, if I were dictating a text message to John or to any of my friends, whether it's on Telegram or let's say an SMS message or whatever, and I am a dual language speaker, for example, and I was doing it in English, and all of a sudden I switched to Italiano or Espanol, it just automatically transitions without hiccups and things like that. And I think that's absolutely brilliant for people who are dual language speakers, because if there's something you want to say in another language to maybe bring some emphasis, for example, you could use that, and I could see how beneficial that would be to people who speak more than one languages. And so it's kudos to Google for doing that, and that's part of the AI thing. And talking about AI, John, some of these things we haven't uh, seen quite yet. Google says coming soon, and sometimes coming soon of Google is like expecting Christ to come back. You never know. It comes whether it'll come in the nighttime, or Google will bring it in during the daytime. You never know when it is. They'll say coming soon, and sometimes it may be weeks, sometimes it's months, sometimes almost half a year. You know what I
Like
mean?
a thief in the night. Isn't that what they say?
Exactly, like a thief in the night, and you never can quite tell when that is going to be, that some of these features are. And the one that I'm particularly looking forward to will have to be the one that the assistant will utilizing Bard, and I'm hoping that we'll see that before the end of this year, or maybe sometime in December, when the first QPR drops for everyone, and maybe they'll incorporate some of that into it. Well, guys, you've heard about some of the stuff that we like about the Pixel phone. And now, John, let's talk about some of the things that we are not liking so far, that we have observed, because, people would think we're basically shameless Google fanboys. John is not a shameless Google fanboy. I probably am the shameless Google fanboy. So let's talk about some of the things, though, that do not work well. And when we talk about things that do not work well, John, something that irks me has to do with when I unlock my screen, whether I'm using either my fingerprint or using the face unlock, and it says unlock, uh, unlock, device unlock, you know, locked, home, unlock. It says something like that,
Yeah.
like
This
3 or
is
4
three.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Do you find that to be annoying? I mean,
Yeah. It's not a deal breaker, because you can shut it up and just get on. Like, as soon as you touch the screen, it'll stop and you can get on with your life. But yeah, it's annoying if you just unlock it, with face unlock, or even fingerprint unlock. It'll say device locked, unlocked. It'll tell you what screen you're on, and then it'll say for a third time, device unlocked.
Exactly. Now, the funniest thing, though, that this is the fact that, remember, during one of our episodes, we had mentioned the fact that one of the betas, I think it was either beta 5 or beta 4, had fixed that. And I'm surprised that we're seeing it on a final release. And that's kind of odd. And I think maybe it's time for us to let someone know, hey, something odd is going on here. Maybe like a little feedback. Tell Google about it.
Yeah, good point. So speaking of unlocking the phones, one other thing that is kind of bugging me is, and I guess, I don't use Pixel that often as my daily, so I think they've changed this a while ago, but I don't like how the notifications on the lock screen are not full notifications that you can interact with. They're just little icons. And in order to get to them without unlocking the phone, you have to swipe down with 2 fingers, and that'll bring down the notification shade. You can't do the notification gesture, so like the default gesture for that is swipe right then down, the angle gesture. If I do that, nothing happens. I have to actually use 2 fingers to swipe down, and you know me, the one-handed user, right? I can't pick up my phone with one hand and just like go through my notifications while it's still locked and dismiss the ones I want with actions and that sort of thing. So that kind of is a small annoyance to me. I have to swipe down with 2 fingers to be able to interact with my notifications while the phone is locked. Obviously, if the phone is unlocked, that's not an issue.
I can feel your pain on that. Now, the thing is that a lot of people didn't like the way it looked back prior to this, those little widgets there on that lock screen. And so a lot of sighted people kind of like that. So little icons showing your notifications. So in other words, you could have several of those things on there versus if you had it the old way, you have to kind of scroll down to go through them all. So I can see where they're coming from.
And of course, I'm not done complaining because I'm the Samsung fanboy here. I will say this is an outlier because, you're not having this issue. And I wasn't having this issue until recently, but my full screen magnifications has stopped working and I can't figure out how to get it working again. I rebooted into safe mode to see if any of my third-party apps were interfering with it, and it still wasn't working. So I will have to do a factory reset because I've messed with all the settings I could find and I can't figure out how to get it working again. But it was working for about 5 days, and then yesterday it just decided to stop working. I can't figure out why.
So, in other words, what John is saying here, though, for those of you that would like to use magnification, I do not use magnification. But tonight, while we're recording this review, I turned on the magnification. I tried both the partial and the full magnifications, and it works for me. And it could be, John, that maybe if I leave it on for 5 days, maybe I'll get into the same board that you got yourself into. I don't know,
Yeah.
but for some reason, it's now not working for you, but it works for me. So if you do a reset, let us know if that
Yeah.
fixes the problem. I'm optimistic that it would fix the problem, but it's odd that
Yeah.
something trivial like that came through and bumped off what was working well.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll fix it. It's just a matter of will I break it again? Whatever I did to, maybe I changed the setting or something. I don't know. But only time will tell, right? But
Only time will tell.
if you are a magnification user, don't not get the phone because of this, because it was working perfectly fine. So something just went wrong, and I'll if I figure out what I did, I'll update you guys.
And for our final words on our review, I just want to say that this Pixel 8 Pro probably has been the best Pixel phone I ever had. And I've had all of them, from the very first one to this one. And it's just absolutely great. And again, that battery, oh, brother, what a beauty that is. And I really enjoy that. And I'm looking forward to using this for some years to come, John. Um, totally liking this phone.
Yeah, I agree. I miss my Samsung phone. I miss some features. I miss certain aspects of the software, but I will say this phone is awesome when it comes to hardware. I mean, it's built nice, it's beautiful. I want to use it. I won't, but I want to use it without a case. You know, I just I love it, It's a great phone.
Most
Great
especially,
screen, great speakers. The hardware is nice. I know certain people who will remain nameless, may be a part of the podcast, may not be, like to make fun of pixels, but this is really, you can't make fun of this, it's nice hardware.
and I'm just gonna say it. We're talking about the cattle and horse thief. That's Ed. Uh, he's the pixel hater. So,
And his wannabe sidekick, Austin.
exactamundo. Sometimes I want to take them out and throw them out out the window, but I can't. I love you, boys. Oh my goodness. And John, to close though, I did record a little something using the HiQ MP3 recorder on my Pixel, and I think I'm gonna put that here as a closing of the review for you to see what it sounds like. Now, we didn't get to do the magic stuff, audio eraser, because you have to actually do something like a video, and then you could just manipulate it. You could hit the wind removal and it will remove, like background noises. Let's say you're outside and it's windy, or like when I recorded my little clip here sitting by my fridge. I got a little portable fridge on my desk here, and I could hear that sound coming through. Now, if it was a video that I was doing, I could take that noise off. But because it's audio, I couldn't find a way to edit that out. Maybe the audio recorder would have done it. I'm not sure. But primarily, when Google talked about it, it has to do with video clips. And this was not a video clip. So, in other words, managing the audio from a video clip. So, with that, here is that little audio recording I did with the HiQ MP3 recorder. This is an audio check of the Pixel 8 Pro, basically testing the microphone. I am recording using the HiQ MP3 recorder at 128 kbps. I am now speaking from the right side of the phone and will now move my head back to the center. And this time I'll speak to the left side. I am now speaking to the left side and moving my way back to the center. And I am back to the center of the phone. You may be hearing a hum in the background because I do have a portable refrigerator here on my desk. That concludes the audio test. Well, that's it, John, and thanks for this review. And you know what? Let's do this again. I think from now on, all of our reviews are going to be dual reviews and unboxings.
Sure. If if we're both getting the phone, why not?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Karine, do you have any thoughts on the Pixel?
First, I want to say that this is the first time that I feel excited about the Pixel. Yeah, I'm not going to purchase one. Actually, it's not available here. But actually, it seems that they are doing things right this time. So I hope that we will not be faced by issues, the issues that come with Pixels. Usually, maybe they have learned the lesson to this time. But I have two questions, one for Warren and the other is for both of you. First, Warren, since you have used all the pixels from the first Pixel until now, and reviewers
Poor
are
boy.
saying that, yeah, he's the Pixel man. So actually, so since you have used all the pixels, and reviewers are saying that, like this one, the experience is something better, or like it's the best experience ever with pixels. So, do you think that there's a difference between things before with the previous Pixels and the Pixel 8 Pro? So, do you think that it's really improved or something, or it's the same experience? And usually, you are the lucky man. So, usually, everyone faces issues with Pixels except you. I don't know why. But yeah, so the second question is for you, for both of you, regarding the sound. You were talking about the sound quality using TalkBack. However, I want to know what's the case with the sound, like when you're playing high quality music or something. So, is the sound balanced? Uh, and is it really something good to talk about? What about the bass? What about the overall sound quality? Not with talkback, with music and stuff.
Loaded questions there, Karen. So I've always had, good experiences with Pixel phones. I have, however, occasionally have some problems with some of them, and most especially with the Pixel 6, especially with that fingerprint reader, which everyone knows. I mean, it's a known thing now. But then also, as I indicated, my 7, I had never been able to, maybe once or twice, that the fingerprint was, I was able to, use it, or else I basically just use the face unlock and using the pin and it just will not work. And I'm not sure, it could be owed to the fact that the tempered glass that I have on it, and yet the funny thing is that it's the same tempered glass that I have on the Pixel 6. And I can tell you that my 6 Pro, the tempered glass on it, which is the same thing from the same manufacturer that I have on the Pixel 7, I can use my finger to unlock my Pixel 6 Pro, no problems, but not with this Pixel 7 Pro. But I can say that the experience on this Pixel 8 Pro has been like no other. It's just absolutely beautiful. Software-wise, it's just excellent. I love the responsiveness. And like I said, it's probably the best Pixel phone I ever had. And I'm glad that I got it. And I'm not regretting that 1400 price cut. Not price cut. But that price hype that Google hiked it up to 1400. But of course, this is a 1 TB, and I'm loving it. It's just beautiful. Everything about that phone is just great.
And what
John,
about the
you
balanced sound? What that was Kareem's second question,
Yeah,
wasn't it? So,
I wanted to ask if John want to comment on that sound. I like the sound that I hear. I haven't played music, to be honest. John?
It's not. It isn't perfectly balanced. I mean, I think this is something that comes with any phone that has a downward firing speaker and a forward firing speaker. It's not balanced, but it's loud and it's clear, and the sound is separated. I don't listen to music on it. You know, if I'm going to listen to music, I play it on a speaker. If I'm going to listen to a podcast or audiobook, I usually use headphones. But you know, there has been a couple occasions where I was listening to something like a YouTube video, and I was just like able to put my turn the volume all the way up, put my phone in my pocket, and just like do what I was doing and listen, and it was like really loud. So it is louder than the Pixel 7 for sure, and it doesn't get distorted when you turn it all the way up.
did any of you see the article that was posted on our email list today? Not about, not from our email list specifically, but about the fact that they said all the generative AI would be done on the Tensor chip, and in fact, it's not. So if you turn off or turn on, airplane mode, it won't work because it's actually done in the cloud. And Google appeared to have dissembled about this. I suspect most people won't care in reality. Like, you're buying a phone, it'll work. By the way, that was very interesting. Did any of you read that article?
Well, here's the thing, though. If anyone says everything would be done locally on the phone, I'm not buying that. Let's be
I think
clear
the thing
about
is,
that. But there are
Google
certain
appeared to
things,
say it.
but there are certain things that, could be done offline. And it's just an impossibility to have everything exclusively done offline. I think you can tell that to a 2-year-old and then not even going to believe you. So, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Do you think Google overclaimed though? Because
Well,
they
I
appeared
think that though, and probably here's what I'm thinking. A lot of these things have not yet been implemented. So to kind of call them out on it early, I think it's a little bit unfair too. So that coming soon, remember that's Google's favorite phrase, coming soon. I'll wait to see all the coming soons be here before I could pass judgment on this particular matter.
So that's a point of view.
Since you use the S23 Ultra, so I want to ask you, compared to the S23, which had a good sound, well, is the Pixel better or worse?
I don't know. I don't want to say. I haven't done a side by side. They're both good enough though, and I don't use the speakers.
Okay, so John is saying that it's worse, and the Samsung S23 is better. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
think
what I'm going with for now. If I find otherwise, I'll clarify and say the Pixel's better.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Corinne, what is it about this phone that excites you then?
Well, first of all, they are like ticking all the boxes. They are giving enough RAM. They are giving enough storage. They are giving like software stuff, the usual software stuff that they are known about. But this time they are doing hardware as well. So it's likely that the Tensor chip, the new generation or the this year's iteration is better, and they are giving everything. So I think it's able to compete this time. They are not just focusing on software. Yeah, okay, they are focusing on software. Actually, it's Google. However, they are also giving a good hardware.
That's very good, Karen.
And now I have a question for Austin, which might sound odd because he doesn't own a Pixel 8 or a Pixel 8 Pro, but I think it's relevant. Austin, do you remember a fellow from about 3 years ago? I can't remember his name, but he said things like, "I'll never buy a flagship. I'll only buy yesterday's wine. I'd never pay over $1,000 for a phone." Do you remember a fellow like that?
Yeah, I remember that there was a person 2-3 years back. He said the same thing.
And what was his name? I've forgotten. Can you remind me?
I think it starts with a W.
I think it starts with a WT, doesn't it? Could his name have been Warren Carr, perchance?
I think so. That is it. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, like never buys a flagship. Will not pay any money for a phone unless it's yesterday's wine. And he just put down $1,400. $1,400.
Because he, at the time when he was saying that, see, he's such a devoted Pixel fan that he's only going to get the Pixel. So if Google isn't offering a phone for over $1,000, he says, I would never buy a phone for over $1,000.
I remember a fellow. That's a good point, John. I remember a fellow like that. No, well.
Could you find such a quote?
Knowing him, he could probably dig back to the archives and find
I have such a quote on the Telegram chat.
Please. Anyway, so here's the deal. I've always had Pixel phones. Okay. Now, sometimes, as I indicated, sometimes I don't buy them right out when they came, most especially the first few ones, 1 through 3. But as of 4, I ordered them the very day that they became available. So I don't know, that quote of yours doesn't reflect what I've been doing.
I only joined in 2020, so it certainly passed the 4. As I think was said, they were well under $100,000 because they were rubbish phones back at the 4. Perhaps that's it. But you always said yesterday's wine. I'll never spend that. And now you dropped $1,400. Like anyone can go back and look at Annotat. I think the archive's open.
1,400, John. 1,400, Ed. It's not 1,800. Remember the Fold? I still have the Fold. I mean, So compare the two.
So you spent $3,000. You still got both of them. My word! I thought you'd return something.
I love it.
You just dropped over $3,000, and you've kept both of them.
I kept them both, and it's a beautiful one.
My word! What happened to literally anyone can go and check this. Go and look at the old Blind Android Users Archives. Go and look at the Annotat archives if they're still up. And go and see what Warren says about expensive phones. My word!
Well, he's not denying it, is he? He's not denying what he said.
But he's not saying anything.
There is an exception. And like I said, well,
what, two exceptions?
If I said that...
How many exceptions do you want?
It probably was making a particular reference. Maybe it's a Sony phone that's only living on glory, past glory. So, I'm not going to put $2,500 for
yesterday's wine.
Phone.
You said you bought.
I like yesterday's wine because you know what? You get good quality, but for less. So if you, for example, you want a Pixel 8 Pro and you can afford it right now, next year you can get it and have that great phone with 6 more years of OS support coming.
Yeah, that is a proper shout next year, to be fair, with 6 years left. That is, that is one that will hold it. I'll be interested to see if Google do what Apple do. So when the 9 comes out, if they pull the 8, that's what Apple tend to do, isn't it? They issue a phone and then pull the one from the year before because they
issue a phone, then they basically pull it, and then whatever the older phone, and even if the older phone works good, you're loped into the system where you have to basically buy a new phone if you want things to basically run right. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Not straight away. They give you a few times of, before it's really
update
bad.
it. No, they update it, but you can't buy it. So
No.
when
What
and I wonder
happens to all those old phones? That's what I want to know.
Amazon.
Where do they go?
Sell it,
Amazon
for $100 less. They knock down the price.
They go to get the recycled metal.
Yeah, but Apple pull it from the Apple Store. So when the 15 Pro Max comes out, the 14 Pro Max goes off sale on Apple. You might be able to get it somewhere else.
Google doesn't do. You can still go and buy a Pixel 7.
No, I know, but now you've got the 8 with a 7-year software update. I'm wondering when the 9 comes out, will they pull the 8?
No, they wouldn't pull the 8.
I don't think so. No.
I think they might.
I think what'll happen really is I think that they'll keep it and continue to support it regardless. That's my guess.
Oh no, they support the phone, so the support is not in question. The question is whether you can still buy it.
The thing about this is,
but that's what I'm saying. They still have the 7 on there. You go there if you don't want.
No, the 7 doesn't. The 7 has 2 years of updates left. It's not a competitor.
Yeah,
if you're trying to sell a 9
off the 8 because 9 came through, and even if they would, it would probably maybe another year or 2 before they do that. But Apple is a genius when it comes to marketing. So when they pull that away, it forces you to buy the new one, unless of course you go to a third-party retailer or whatever. Those guys know what they're doing.
I mean, Google have no reason to pull the 7 because its software updates aren't particularly competitive. But if the 9 comes out and someone goes, well, I can still buy the 8, and that's got 6 years left, I think Google might pull the 8.
So Warren, do you think the AI part is going to come down to the Pixel 7a and the Pixel 7 and others?
Well, some of those things might trickle down, like I think probably maybe the guided frame might. I'm thinking especially on the Pixel 7 series. I think there's already a modded version of the Pixel camera that now works with the Pixel 7 series. So it's one of those things that I'm almost positive is going to trickle down to the Pixel 7 series. But of course, sometimes if you want to sell a particular thing, you want to hold on to pushing it down so you could have all the sales before you could, push it out there. So it's a strategy.
My question to Warren and John was going to be microphone quality. Now, I have tested, the Pixel 5, the Pixel 6, and the Pixel 7a. Thank you, Nesma, for letting me test it. The question I pose would have more to do with the microphonic audio. What results would you say you've gotten out of the Pixel 8 in comparison to maybe an older Pixel or perhaps a Samsung in your mind in terms of clarity, such as crispness, how much background noise it hears, how raw is it? If you go to a noisy setting, how much are you going to get out of that recording if you're trying to record the traffic around you? What kind of things have you guys, learned from the microphonic audio of those phones?
We do have a sample in our review, of course, which you probably haven't listened to yet because we're just recording this. But I do have a little sample, and I use the HiQ MP3 recorder in doing so. Now, I haven't tried other apps for sure, but I don't think it would be any different. Like, say, if I were upside and I have, maybe things going left and right, you will still hear those as good as the other Pixel phones. I didn't think that the quality was any different, say, recording with my 6 Pro or 7 Pro or something of the sort. I haven't really particularly paid attention to that, to be honest, but I did include a little sample in there.
Maybe you can record me some messages and Telegram side by side with a couple of your devices, and I can do some assessing from here too. I always love doing microphonic tests. If you'll remember, harken back to the day I recorded you something from the Galaxy S5 when I first joined the group. The old.
By the way, I found an old Galaxy S5, in my drawer, like about 3 or so weeks ago. Yeah.
Hey, mine still works, by the way. It still works. And I just the other day installed a couple apps on it from the Play Store, and it still runs. I'm like, wow. This thing is a dinosaur and it still runs.
That's what I'm talking about. And, you can actually install both WhatsApp and Telegram on it. Now, go try to get that on a Apple phone from 2014, see if it will work for you.